Okay, thank you for joining me this morning. Please come to a seated position on your mat. Find your foundation. Inhale, grow long, and exhale, settle into your alignment. Feel your center. And begin to slow your breathing down. In through the nose and out through the nose. Toning slightly at the back of the throat so your breath becomes audible. On your next exhale, pause at the bottom. Inhale. Pause at the top, part your lips and audibly Om. Take a couple breaths here. On your next exhale, pause at the bottom. Inhale deeply and pause at the top. Part your lips and Om. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears. Give them a squeeze, and exhale, bring them back and down. Tilt your right ear towards your right elbow. And then let your head hang here. Let gravity help your head down towards your right shoulder. Meanwhile, energetically and physically try dragging down your right shoulder as you let your head, your left shoulder, as you let your head come towards your right shoulder. So when we draw our left shoulder down, it creates a juicy stretch along the left side of our neck. Breathe into any tight places you can feel along your neck, along your shoulder, maybe your chest and back. See if you can stretch and expand those areas with your breath. Still continue to energetically draw your left shoulder down as gravity aids your head in heading towards your right shoulder. 2 more breaths here. Waking up the neck. Take your right hand to your right ear and help your head up to center so we don't strain the muscles we just stretched. Take a breath, feel your alignment, grow your spine long by elevating and lifting through the crown of the head. And then tilt your left ear towards your left shoulder. Let gravity pull your head towards your left shoulder. And energetically and physically try to draw down your right shoulder so you can feel that juicy stretch along the outside of your right side of your neck. Imagine that you can send your breath to the tight places in your body beyond your lungs. And breathe into any tight places in your back, your shoulders, your neck, and your chest. Continue drawing down your right shoulder as your head just begins to sink towards your left shoulder with the help of gravity. See if you can massage your tight neck muscles with your breath. One more breath here. Take your left hand to the left side of your head and push your head back to center so we don't strain the muscles we just stretched. Inhale, grow long. See if you can lift through the sides of your body, the crown of your head. Inhale your shoulders forward, up, give them a squeeze, and exhale your shoulders back and down. Bring your palms together at heart center. Press into your hands, and as you do, press your shoulder blades together onto your back. And breathe. Even when we're engaged, can you find softness? Today's class is themed around courage. I don't know if you noticed, but I started with a little bit of a warm-up before I let you in on the theme this morning. And it's important to take care of yourself, to align yourself before you throw yourself into new adventures. Sometimes it can take courage, even just to slow down and rest. And it can take courage to get up and do something hard. Maybe like this. Maybe waking up this morning for you was really hard. I know it is for me now that it's dark in the mornings. Contemplate on the courage it takes for you to make a commitment to yourself, to do something that is outside of your norm, to change your life, to take those steps in the direction that you would like to go in. When the mountain looks so big, it takes courage. I want you to bow into your heart for a moment. Take a moment to thank yourself for showing up today. Showing up for yourself. And then roll over onto your hands and your knees. Tuck your toes under. And your hands should come to the inner lining of your hands, so your L's should come to about the outer edge of your shoulders. That's what's going to give your upper body support. Plug your fingers into the mat, claw them into the mat, which helps to plug down through the four corners of your palms. And that way we're not dumping all of our weight onto the outer edge of our hands. We're evenly weighting through the four corners of our palms. So just paw your hands into the mat for a moment like a cat, trying to feel your foundation, feel the ground beneath you. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your sitting bones, lift your gaze. This is your cow pose, and exhale, curve your spine towards the ceiling, tailbone comes in, gaze looks in. This is your cat pose. Inhale, back to cow. And exhale to cat. Warming up the spine. Beginning to link our movement with our breath. You can maybe find a little extra swing into each pose. And just take slow breaths, slow movements. On your next exhale, come to a neutral spine. If you have extra cushion, you can grab it now for your knees. I like a little extra cushion, or you can roll up the edge of your mat and support your knees that way. Put your support under your right knee and step your left foot in front of you. If you have blocks, this is also a good time to reach for them. If you don't have blocks, you can have a balancing object beside you, something to hold on to help keep your chest elevated and supported so you're not hunching. Step your left foot even farther forward so you're in an extended lunge. Your back toes should be curled under. Inhale, send your glutes towards your heel. Flex your front toes towards your face. Feel that stretch in your hamstring, and exhale, lunge into your front leg. Feel that stretch along the outer edge of, the front of your right hip flexor. Inhale back. Flex your toes to your face, and exhale forward. Feel that hip flexor stretch. Inhale back, and exhale forward. Begin to follow the rhythm of your own breath. This is what makes your practice unique to you and perfect for you. The next time you lunge forward, plant your hands and step back into a downward facing dog. Pedal out your heels for a moment. Make sure you're plugging down through the four corners of your hands, so claw your fingers into the mat like suction cups if you are not evenly weighted in all four corners. Press into your hands, bringing your shoulder blades onto your back more. Let your heart and your heels melt towards the earth. Inhale, look towards your hands, step your right foot forward, and drop your left knee to the mat. You can add your support. Step your right foot a little more forward so you're in an extended lunge. Inhale, send your glutes towards your heel and flex your front foot towards your face. Exhale, lunge into your front leg. Feel the left psoas stretch. That's the front of your left hip. Inhale back and exhale forward. Follow your own breath. We're going to do a few more pulsations here. Warming up the legs. We're going to do a juicy leg class today. And hopefully by the end of it, your legs will feel 2 inches longer. See if you can slow your breathing down even more. Make it more deliberate. Giving your muscles and joints a chance to really absorb that juicy oxygen. The next time you lunge forward, plant your hands and step back into a downward facing dog. Pedal your feet out. And then come into stillness, letting your heels sink towards the earth and pressing into your hands so your shoulder blades come together onto your back. Inhale, lift your right leg up behind you. Open and stack your hips so your knee is bent, pointing towards the ceiling. And look under your left armpit, which helps you evenly weight into both hands. Inhale your right leg back behind you, and exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Drop your left heel so you're in a front heel to back arch alignment. And bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Inhale your left arm up and overhead and open up your chest to the side of the room. This is your side angle pose. Breathe here. Plug in through the outer edge of your left foot and draw that stability up the entire length of the left side of your body. up your arm and through your fingertips. Feel engagement and also softness. See if you can reach just a little further with your hands. Inhale, bring your arms parallel to the earth, warrior two. Fingers pointed to the front and back of the room, and look over your front fingertips. Breathe for a moment. Without changing your legs, on your next exhale, drop your left hand, lift your right arm up and overhead, reverse warrior. Breathe here for a moment. Inhale your arms back to warrior two. And exhale, plant your hands to frame your front foot and step back into downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet and then come into stillness. Find your breath. Inhale your left leg up behind you. And exhale, bend your knee, open and stack your hips so your left knee is pointing towards the ceiling. And look under your right armpit so you're evenly weighted in both hands. Inhale, lift your left leg back behind you, and exhale, step your left leg between your hands. Drop your right heel so you're in a front heel to back arch alignment, and bring your left forearm to your left thigh. Right arm comes up and overhead. Breathe. Make sure here that you're not clenching your hand that is resting on your thigh like a fist, or clenching your face. See if you can maybe even invite a soft smile. Reach through the entire right side of your body from your foot to your fingertips and breathe. One more breath, make it count. Windmill your arms up parallel to the earth, pointing to the front and back of the room, warrior two. Look over your front fingertips. Imagine that you can expand the energy that runs through your body beyond your fingertips like laser beams. Feel that expansiveness coming from within you. You are strong and powerful and courageous, just like a warrior. We all have that potential energy. Drop your right hand, lift your left arm up and overhead, reverse warrior. Breathe here for a moment. Really firm and strengthen your back thigh for stability. One more breath, make it count. Beautiful. Windmill your arms to warrior two. And then exhale, plant your hands to frame your front foot and step back into downward facing dog. Drop your knees right underneath your hips. And send your glutes towards your heels as you do, so your toes are still curled under. As you do, extend your arms out in front of you and tense your fingers like you've got cupcakes underneath them that you don't want to crush. Melt your heart to the earth as you lift the underlining of your arms up. And breathe. This is your puppy dog pose. Giving your back a bit of a juicy stretch. If you're able to and it feels right to you, you can sway a little bit from side to side, feeling out the different parts of your back as you allow your heart to melt more and open up more through the front of your body. Come up through tabletop and press up and back into downward facing dog. Look up towards your hands. You can either step or hop up to the front of your mat and forward fold. Bend your knees generously so you can let your torso hang over your thighs. Let your arms hang forward. Maybe grab your elbows
sway from side to side. You can nod your head yes, or shake your head no. Inhale, straighten your legs, halfway lift. Shoulder blades come together, neck comes back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweep your arms up and overhead. And exhale, palms together and down through heart center and alongside your hips. Beautiful. So we're going to work on some balancing poses today and some juicy leg stretches. If you need, which I always recommend, have some balancing object around you, something you can hold on to, even a wall that you can lean on, just for stability and strength support. Bring your feet right underneath your hip bones. So for women, this is not the outer edge of your hips, it is your hip bones, which are right along the middle of your legs. So really bring your feet right underneath your hip bones in number 11s. So they're completely parallel to one another, not turning out a little or in a little. Lift your toes for a moment and feel the ball mound of your big toe plugging into the earth. Notice how your arches of your feet are engaged and lifted. Imagine that you have tiny little fairies living under your arches of your feet, and you want to continue to give them air to breathe. So even as we gently lower our toes to the ground, can you maintain that engagement in the muscles of your feet? Bend into your knees. As you do, tuck your tailbone in, bring your belly button to your spine, begin to straighten your knees, and as you do, lengthen up. Bring your shoulders onto your backs, palms facing outwards. Bring your neck back and feel your mountain pose. Imagine that you have roots coming out of the bottom of your feet through your nerve endings, rooting into the earth, all the way to the earth's core, and drawing up its golden energy. Feel rooted into the earth. Shift your weight to your left leg and begin to lift your right foot off the ground. Now, for this, we're going to do tree pose, so there's a few bus stops here I'm going to show you. First bus stop, you can have your foot on the ground and your heel against your leg like a kickstand. This is valid. This is a perfectly good tree pose. You're still balancing all on one leg, so this is a great practice. Second bus stop, right below your knee on your shin. And then the third bus stop is above your knee. So we never put our foot on our knee because we don't want to push that joint out. So find your foundation in your mountain pose and then begin to explore what your bus stop is. So we shift our weight. I always start with the kickstand. And then I bring my leg up. Your knee should be going out towards the side, but that is dependent on how open and flexible your hips are. See if you can tuck your tailbone down, so it's almost like your tailbone is rooting into the earth, just like your feet. You can keep your hands on your hips, or you can inhale your arms up like tree branches, palms facing each other, and see if you can spin your pinkies back behind you, how that opens up your chest. Breathe. And if your tree is swaying, just know that that's natural. Don't make anything right or wrong in this moment. You're a courageous being for even trying. And as long as you try, you can never fail. You can only get better. Inhale your arms up, palms together, down through heart center. Bring your knee forward and then lower your leg to the ground. Bend your knees one at a time, just feeling into the foundation in your feet, kind of giving your legs a little movement. Lift your toes, find your arches, and then come into stillness. You can gently relax your toes back down, but maintain that engagement. Shift your weight to your right foot. create your kickstand. You can stay here, or you can find your bus stop. And you can find the place for your arms. Remember your breath. Bring your tailbone down, which opens up your hips even more. And see if you can invite a soft smile in. Beautiful. And just like trees in nature, trees sway. So don't judge yourself. Beautiful. Inhale your arms up, palms together, down through heart center. Bring your knee forward and then lower your foot to the earth. Beautiful. So we're going to do a couple more balancing poses here that are really going to start working to strengthen and stretch your legs. So once again, find your feet underneath your hip bones in number 11s. Have some balancing object this time in front of you. So maybe you need to rotate, or maybe you have some blocks. You can also use some stacked books, whatever you need. And what we're going to do is shift our weight once again to our left foot. This time, we're going to begin to lift our right foot off the ground. Your foot is still flexed. And just as you begin to bring your right heel back, reach forward for your balancing object. And see if you can melt your torso forward as you kick your heel back behind you. Your standing leg should have a micro bend in your knee, so you're never hyperextending your knee. And make sure your foot is not turning to the edge towards the ceiling. It's the back of your heel. So your hips are square with the earth beneath you. This is a tough one. This is your standing splits. And you are doing awesome. One more breath here. Let's make it count. Beautiful. Slowly lower your right leg to meet your left and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders onto your back, neck comes back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Sweep your arms up and overhead, palms together, hands down through heart center and alongside your hips. Going to the opposite side. Feel into your mountain pose for a moment before you shift your weight. Shift your weight to your right foot and begin to lift your left foot off the ground. As you send your left heel back, reach forward for your balancing object. Make sure your hips are square with the ground. Micro bend in your standing leg. And see if you can kick your left heel back up behind you, standing splits. Breathe, always remembering your breath. See if you can soften your face here. 2 more breaths. You can do it. Have the courage to try. Last one. And lower your left foot to meet your right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulders come back, neck comes back. And exhale, fold. Plant your hands and step back into a high plank position. You can drop your knees if you need to. Tuck your elbows into the sides of your body and lower down. Create a pillow for your head here. And rest your forehead. Bend your knees to a 90-degree angle. And windshield wiper your feet from side to side. Giving your low back a little bit of a stretch.
Come into stillness. Let the tops of your feet be heavy on the earth. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders and plant your hands on the earth. As you do, draw your shoulder blades together and notice how that lifts your chest. Draw your neck back so your gaze is following your heart. And breathe. This is your Sphinx pose. Engage your shoulder blades together. Neck back. Beautiful. Lower your chest to the earth. Bring your hands by your pecs. Press into your hands and give yourself a little back bend. Cobra. Back down to the earth. And then press up and back into a child's pose. So bring your knees wider than hip width apart. Big toes together. Arms out in front of you and just relax. Take this moment to recenter yourself. What does it mean to find your center? To come into your center and to find your alignment. What does that feel like to you? Come through tabletop. Press up and back into downward facing dog. Look towards your hands. You can step or hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And shoulder blades together. Neck comes back and fold. Inhale, root to rise. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms down through heart center and alongside your hips. We're going to do one more quick balancing pose. So just like with the standing splits, we're going to have a balancing object in front of us. Find your mountain pose with your feet right underneath your hip bones. Paw your feet into the mat. Find your foundation. Find what feels comfortable. Shift your weight to your left leg. And as you do, lift your right heel. With your foot flexed towards your knee, bring your right heel over your left knee and begin to sit into an imaginary chair as you reach for your balancing object. Can you send your glutes back even more? And breathe into the outer edge of your right hip. This is a juicy leg stretch. At the same time, we're strengthening our opposite leg. You guys are doing awesome. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Make them slow and make them count. Begin to straighten your standing leg. Bring your right foot to meet your left and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sweep your arms up and overhead. Inhale. And exhale, palms down through heart center and alongside your hips. Always make sure when we're lifting from a fold that we're inhaling so we don't get a rush of blood to our heads. And our breath really helps us. So shift your weight to your right foot. As you do, begin to lift your left foot, cross your left heel over your right knee, begin to bend into your right knee and sit back into your imaginary chair. Reach for your balancing objects and breathe. See if you can send your glutes back even more. That's what's giving you that juicy stretch. Remember your breath. Even when we're strong and sturdy, can you be soft and graceful? I'm laughing at that because I don't always have the most grace, but it's something that we work on.
Let's take 3 more breaths here. Make them juicy, make them count. You can even make an audible noise when you breathe, like a sigh. This is your Ujjay breath. 1 more breath. Begin to straighten your standing leg. Bring your left foot to meet your right foot in forward fold. Plant your hands, step back to a downward facing dog. And just see if you notice any difference in your downward facing dog from when you started the class. Drop your knees to the earth. Roll over onto your glutes and then onto your back. Bring your knees into your belly. Grab your shins and rock from side to side, giving your low back a nice massage. And then extend your legs out in front of you. Bring your legs wider than your hips and let your feet fall to the sides of the room. Tuck your shoulder blades behind you, allowing your chest to open up and your palms to flip towards the ceiling. And then draw your neck to the mat a little bit more, maybe creating a slight tuck of your chin, which lengthens your spine. Your neck is a gorgeous extension of your spine that we often take for granted. Begin to feel into your body. Begin to relax. Your breath is not controlled. You're not holding any part of your body up. Let your body breathe itself as gravity holds you. Can you let go and completely surrender? Imagine you can surrender even muscles that we never think about. Surrender the weight of your toes, your feet, and your ankles. Let them melt. Surrender your shins and calves, the backs in front of your knees, the backs in front of your thighs. And let gravity hold them. You don't need to do anything right now. Give yourself permission to be held. Feel the weight of your pelvis. Feel your belly and your mid-back begin to relax. And then your shoulders and chest, your arms, and your hands, all the way to your fingertips. Let them go. Relax your throat and your jaw, your lips and cheeks. See if you can even relax your ears. Relax your eyelids and your eyebrows. Let them do whatever they want. Relax your forehead and your scalp. And let yourself be held by the earth, supported and provided for. The earth has everything we could ever need. And just like the earth, your body is a self-sustaining entity. Have a moment of gratitude for the miracle that is your body, that is this earth that provides for and supports us. Such a simple thing to be grateful for, but such a powerful thing to be grateful for. And just let yourself be. Begin to find some movement in your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet, wrists and ankles. Bring your hands overhead together and your feet together and give yourself a stretch. See how long you can stretch your body. And then roll over onto your right side. Use your bicep as a pillow and just rest for a moment. When we lie on our right side, we give our heart a rest. And when we lie on our left side, we give our digestion a rest. So give a moment to your heart. It's always beating for you. Press into the floor and come up to a seated position. Find your center. Root your sitting bones into the earth, maybe by literally taking your hands and shifting your glutes back so your sitting bones can be meeting the earth. Grow along through the sides of your body, through the crown of your head, lengthening your neck and aligning it with the rest of your spine. We may not always feel it, but in life, we are all courageous warriors. We all have our battles, and it can be scary. It can be hard. Just know that just by doing it, you are a courageous warrior. Give yourself the rest, the time, the care that you need to be able to take the steps in the direction that you want. Have the courage to try. Bring your hands together at heart center. Press into your palms, and as you do, press your shoulder blades together onto your back. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Bow into your heart. Thank yourself for coming today. Genuinely thank yourself. I thank you all for showing up, for joining me in community, and for showing up for yourself. The light and the shadow in me bows to and acknowledges the light and the shadow in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your class. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you have the courage to do what you want.